right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're celebrating the incredibly brilliant, though tragically brief, life of a young actress who literally changed the landscape of Hollywood representation forever. Of course, we're talking about Kaylee Hottle. We're going to walk through her whole journey, from her super unique childhood all the way to her heartbreakingly early passing, and see exactly how she left an absolute undeniable mark on massive blockbuster cinema in just 18 years. If you want to understand the absolute core of her story, you just have to look at her own words. She said, "I want deaf people to know that they can do that too, just like me. There are no limits." And wow, right? That fiercely determined mindset basically defined her entire journey. She wasn't just acting for herself. She knew deep down she was a trailblazer for the entire deaf community on the global stage. Section 1, Roots in Deaf Culture. Because to truly grasp her monumental impact on screen, we've got to look at the deeply rooted culture she was born into. Kaylee grew up with this incredibly rich, beautifully intersectional background. Born on May 1st, 2007, down in Atlanta, Georgia, she was raised in a household where American Sign Language was literally her native tongue. Her dad, Joshua, he comes from a family with 4 generations of deaf individuals. And her mom, Ketsi, is of Korean descent and was adopted by a family in Wisconsin. So you've got this amazing, vibrant, multicultural mix happening. Plus, she grew up in a mixed hearing and deaf household. She had an older hearing-impaired sister and 3 younger hearing brothers. Her parents and her sister were really her ultimate role models growing up. Her early childhood was, well, it was constantly on the move. From Atlanta, her family packed up and headed to Oklahoma, then over to Kansas, out to Colorado, before eventually putting down roots in Kyle, Texas. And it was there, in Texas, that she found a real educational home at the Texas School for the Deaf in Austin. She absolutely thrived there, having deaf teachers and being totally surrounded by peers who could all communicate seamlessly in ASL. It was a total game changer for her. Section 2, The Road to Hollywood. And honestly, it is wild how a tiny commercial appearance paved the way straight to the biggest movie screens in the world. It really goes to show that sometimes immense talent is discovered purely by chance, like absolute serendipity. Kaylee actually started out doing these small public service announcements when she was around 9. Fast forward to 2017, she does a Mother's Day commercial for a video relay service called Convo Relay. Well, as luck would have it, an assistant director for the movie Kong Skull Island happened to catch this exact commercial. He realizes she is a dead ringer for a character description they were working on, passes her name up the ladder, and boom, the legendary casting director, Sarah Helly Finn, taps her for the role of Gia. Section 3, Bonding with a Monster. This was the role that catapulted her onto the global stage, starring as Gia, the deaf orphan, who forms this powerful, wordless bond with Kong. Just imagine the wild contrast she had to navigate on set every single day. On the one hand, she's got this super intimate reality, working directly with an on-set ASL master. They'd translate her English script lines right into American Sign Language, which let her really process the emotion and deliver it so authentically. But then, on the flip side, she had to rely on a massive, almost superhuman imagination. Because when the cameras rolled, she wasn't actually looking at a giant 300-foot ape. Actually, scratch that, there was absolutely nothing there but a giant green screen. Or maybe just a laser pointer if she was lucky. And yet, she managed to convey this profound tenderness and deep connection with a CGI monster that honestly anchored the entire emotional weight of those massive blockbusters. Section 4, Champion for Representation. Because beyond all the giant monsters and blockbusters, Kaylee was fiercely dedicated to breaking down barriers for the disabled community in Hollywood. Right before her passing, she was gearing up to step into a totally new kind of hero role. She'd been cast in a film called What Doesn't Kill Us. It's this awesome story about a group of friends who literally use their disabilities as actual superpowers. Kaylee was going to play a deaf character whose other senses were incredibly powerful, specifically this heightened, almost superhuman sense of pattern recognition. She was actively pushing forward this narrative that a disability isn't a limitation, it's an absolute advantage. Section 5, A Tragic Farewell. And it's here, sadly, that we really have to shift gears and talk about the heartbreaking events of July 21st, 2026. Authorities confirmed the tragic details of a sudden, just absolutely devastating single-car crash that cut her promising life way too short. At 2:52 a.m. in Igemsville, Maryland, a vehicle carrying Kaylee and 2 others veered off the road and struck a culvert due to excessive speed. She was airlifted by state police to the R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center, but her heart had stopped before she even got there. She was pronounced dead from multiple blunt force injuries. She was just 18 years old. Her dad, Joshua, later said he had to take a flight that I never would like to take all the way from Texas up to Maryland to bring his daughter home. Just incredibly heavy. Section 6. An enduring legacy. Now, despite the unimaginable grief that fell over her family, her friends, and her fans all over the world, the immediate aftermath was marked by this truly astonishing display of grace. I mean, nothing speaks to the incredible character of Kaylee's family more than this. Her father hosted a 23-minute live stream on Facebook in ASL to share the news of her passing. And amidst his own completely crushing heartbreak, he reached out directly to the 19-year-old driver of that vehicle and publicly said, "I have forgiven you. Don't let this incident ruin the rest of your life." It is just a profound, unbelievable testament to the love and the strength that raised Kaylee. And the outpouring of love from Hollywood? It was instantaneous. Her co-stars and fellow actors immediately shared their devastation. Millie Bobby Brown and Rebecca Hall, who played her adopted mom on screen, shared these beautiful, heartfelt tributes honoring the massive talent and light she brought to their sets. Alaqua Cox, another amazing deaf actress making huge waves in the Marvel Universe, also expressed her heartbreak. It just shows you how deeply Kaylee impacted our peers in the industry. Her legacy in film was already set in stone, honestly. And that was proven by a major award nomination she received posthumously. She was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actor for her triumphant return to the MonsterVerse in 2024's Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. It's this really poignant reminder of the heights she was already reaching, bringing completely authentic, powerful deaf representation to massive-budget global cinema. So, reflecting on her beautiful shooting star of a life, we're left with a pretty vital question. Kaylee Hottle proved that there are literally no limits, and that authentic casting doesn't just work, it brings an unmatched depth and tenderness to the screen. As viewers, as fans of her incredible work, the big takeaway from this explainer is the sheer importance of her mission. So how does Hollywood continue the crucial work for authentic representation she championed? We really have to hope the industry honors her brief but brilliant life by continuing to open the doors she forced wide open. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the truly inspiring life of Kaylee Hottle.